Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Strege, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur. I'm your host, David Strege, and here I have another review for you, this time of an anthology that was directed by Christopher Ambriz for 2018. Right now it is streaming for free on Tubi, and I was able to watch it. He has directed Dark Blood, which eventually will become Dark Blood of the Vampires, and that film was originally filmed in the year 2000, but I believe that it will get a release under the title Dark Blood of the Vampires with Cinema Epic, along with this particular anthology, at least from what I understand. And the film surrounds a wraparound story where a couple of kids, two guys, are wanting to steal because evidently they didn't have the money for it, a felt looking like I believe it was like a Ouija board of some sort, and that was the original item that one sent the other in to go and retrieve. And he got the item, but he ended up coming back with evidently this comic book that evidently is kind of an ancient comic book of some sort called Muerte. The name of the the name of the anthology itself, and what it tells in its story is it tells three stories that end up involving all of them eventually. Also, on the other hand, we have a group of four girls who evidently are trying to conduct some kind of ritual, and those girls don't have anything to do with these guys, but these guys want to put on this party for these girls to get laid, basically. And the stories that are involved are the date, which is kind of a story dealing with vampires and robots. The uh, Actually, it's just mirrors or mirror is the second story, which has something to do with vanity. And El Cucuy, which is the Spanish or Mexican word for the boogeyman. Um, and evidently, there's a little girl who evidently behaves bad when she was young, and she continues it into her adult years, and the boogeyman ends up coming after her. So I like all three of these stories, although with some of the um, I'm kind of glad that some of the noises that some of the vampires actually made was actually not a cheetah. It was in fact a lion, which actually sounded better to me than a cheetah. And I've heard it, especially in films from the late 90s to early 2000s. I think that was the sound that vampires actually made on a low budget. And I know that at least the Curiosity Shop that you saw the old woman that the comic book was actually in. Um, that was more or less like a shot on video type thing. But the rest of the short films that are part of this anthology were actually seemed like they were shot really well. The oldest of them, I think, being El Cucuy, um, which ultimately was kind of like a added on in the wraparound because in order to um, create the terror that he was to induce, he kind of somewhat built on his original short film and built it into the wraparound story. And I like how he filmed that connection piece for this tale. So um, I like the work that Christopher Ambriz did for this anthology. I mean, the effects weren't always the greatest per se, but he created worlds that were very much believable. And to be honest, I don't think that there have been very many vampire versus robot kind of films. I think it's kind of out there and unique, to be honest. I don't really want to say too much about anymore dealing with this film, other than the fact that many of the actors and actresses have been with him along the way. I don't really think there was any really cheesy acting. I think that all of the actors and actresses that have been in his films have acted with a lot of enthusiasm, which uh, is something to say about some independent films. Some actors and actresses don't. You can tell that some of them are there because they don't want to be. But I believe that the actors and actresses that he works with actually want to be there, and I don't really think you can say that any of his actors and actresses uh, didn't want to be. So I guess if I had to pick a favorite moment in this anthology to take away from. I guess I will remember the actor who played the robot. I thought that he was actually very human, um, even though he could just be some regular Joe, in real life. But I also will take the. I think that the boogeyman, the El Kukui, I think the makeup on him was very cool. And the makeup on the older lady, ultimately in the end, was very fantastical. I think there were moments that I feel like there was a lightning bolt, I believe, in the date that I've seen lightning bolts in independent films, and sometimes they look so corny, but this one actually looked really real. So, in any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. I believe the oldest person in this anthology that has been with him since the late 2000s was actually Sylvia Bolster, and she was with him in Dark Blood, which will also eventually end up on Cinema Epic. So, in any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. Definitely check the film out if you have not. And I thought it was entertaining, and I think you should at least give it a one-time watch. So appreciate you spending time on my page, and thank you so much. I will definitely have some more cool stuff to talk about eventually down the road. So in any case, thank you so much. Enjoy.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?